Well, we have a few more that are joining, but we'll get started with some introductions. First off, I'd like to welcome you. Thank you so much for joining our P-TECH and Early College High School Information Night. We'll start the evening with some introductions. My name is Anthony Taby. I'm the Chief Academic Officer here at Questar 3 BOCES. And Kim?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kim Sparkman, and I'm the Career and Technical Education Coordinator for Questar 3 BOCES. So I've worked closely with Anthony as he's developed this. And we're also joined by Deborah Shoemaker from Hudson Valley. If you don't mind introducing yourself.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm Deb Shoemaker from Hudson Valley Community College, and we're excited to be partnering with Questar on this very new opportunity. I'm the college liaison with all of our early college high school programs at the college.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. So starting out, imagine a place where learning comes alive, where thoughts and conversations extend into the halls, where students are challenged and inspired to build confidence in themselves as lifelong learners, where they are trained for top jobs in emerging career fields, where they start their college journey early with support. This is a quote that I think is really pertinent and relevant to P-TECH and early college high school programs. And I think when we think about what it is we're trying to accomplish, we're currently preparing students for jobs that don't yet exist, using technologies that haven't been invented in order to solve problems we don't even know exist yet. And this was a very, very informed statement by Richard Riley, a former Secretary of Education. So we like to think of our P-TECH and early college high school program as a partnership, but also as a school reimagined. And we are honored to have Hudson Valley Community College as our partners in these efforts, along with all of our component school districts. Up on the screen here, you have the component districts and the counties that represent Questar 3 BOCES. We have districts from Columbia, Greene, and Rensselaer counties, a total of 22 school districts. And then I'd also like to add too, if you're joining us from outside of those 3 counties, you are also eligible to attend our P-TECH and early college high school. And we encourage your participation and attendance as well. So what is P-TECH and early college high school? I think that it's important to give you a little bit of background as to what they are. P-TECH stands for Pathways in Technology, and ECHS stands for Early College High School. Both programs allow colleges and universities to partner with public school districts and/or BOCES. They're intended to help fill workforce development skill gaps. Students earn college credits while completing their high school diploma simultaneously. And it puts students on the fast track to a college degree while saving their families thousands of dollars in tuition costs. So both programs, as I mentioned, are going to be housed at Hudson Valley Community College. Their campus in Troy is very nice new campus, a lot of exciting new buildings on their campus. And the building that we would be occupying is a newly renovated building, the Lang building. And it gives a couple of advantages, and I think something that's very important to think about. It's in a position on the campus where it permits the easy entrance and exit of school district buses, allows for immediate entry into the building by students, so that where we want to have some isolation, we can do that. But it also is on the campus, so it permits us the flexibility to be connected to all of the different buildings on the campus. I think it's important to also recognize that our students would be engaged in integration with the college as early as 9th grade. Our teachers, along with Hudson Valley Community College professors, would start working with students as early as 9th grade. Just to give two differences between the two programs. The P-TECH program is a 6-year program, and it culminates in an AAS degree, ranging from 60 to 63 credits. The early college high school program is a 4-year program, and students earn at minimum 24 college credits, but can earn more than that, up to an associate's degree as well. The big difference there is the number of years of the program. One thing I want to emphasize too with P-TECH is, although it is a 6-year program, it's up to a 6-year program. Students can finish and earn their associate's degree prior to that. They don't have to stay for the full 6 years, as long as it's culminating in both their completion of high school diploma requirements and the associate's degree for the pathway that they've identified. So just talking a little bit about the pathways. Before I talk about that, I want to just give you a little bit of background of where we came up with these pathways. What we did is we looked at fields in which there was a high percentage of growth projected over the next 6 to 8 years. And those fields are in-demand STEM fields. Starting out with P-TECH, the pathways that we've identified are computer information systems with a focus on web development, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence, engineering technology with a focus on civil engineering and architecture, but also permitting the flexibility that if a student wanted to move on to another engineering field, they could do that. And then finally, the third P-TECH pathway is environmental science and protection technology, focusing on clean energy management. The early college high school pathway is within the health sciences. And examples of the health sciences pathways are respiratory therapy, radiologic technology, and dental hygiene. One of the things that we learned as we were doing our research on the different pathways is there's a lot of specialty in the health sciences, and it really lent itself to connecting better with the early college high school pathway, because it is a 4-year pathway, and it gave students that flexibility once they complete their high school diploma, earning as many credits as they can during their high school years, the opportunity to specialize in the particular health sciences field that they are interested in. So here's some specific data on forecasted job growth within the capital region. Web development is forecasted to grow by 16,000 jobs, or a 20% change. That's a significant change as well. Civil engineering is set to grow by 2,200 jobs, 18% increase. Environmental science, 17%, another 1,250 jobs. And health sciences, these three fields that we've identified here have anywhere between a 22 and a 30% projected growth over the coming years. So the numbers below are national numbers, but you can see that these are all emerging and growing fields within these STEM fields. So what are some of the benefits of these programs? I think one of the biggest programs or benefits is that the students get to participate in this program, earning their college credits in a cost-free environment. So the credits that they're earning are at no expense to families. That is part of what the grant does. These are rigorous. It's rigorous coursework, and it's important that we make sure that we are supporting our students as they're doing that college level work. So we have the benefits of a high school faculty that can work with students, along with the college faculty and supports that are on the college campus. So combined together, we really can make sure that our students are being supported as they're engaging in this rigorous coursework. So through that, we feel that it combines the best elements of oh, I'm sorry,
Sorry.
back
Sorry.
one slide. Combines the best elements of high school along with college. So not only are they going to be fulfilling their requirements to graduate high school, but they'll also be earning at a minimum of 24 college credits within the early college high school program, up to 63 credits as part of the P-TECH program in one of those three identified pathways. Both programs include a very strong integration with our workforce partners, our industry partners, including worksite visits, workplace learning, mentoring. Those are all key features of both programs, really trying to make sure that not only is what you're learning immediately relevant to what you're doing as far as your career field, but you're seeing it firsthand as to how those skills are being implemented in industry. I mentioned it a little bit before, but access to the academic, social, and planning and other supports provided to all HVCC students. That was one of the things that was emphasized from the very beginning, and with our partnership with Hudson Valley, and having the access and support of the faculty that is on the campus is going to be tremendously helpful to supplement our own faculty that will be on campus as well. Individualized academic support. I think one of the challenges of taking college level coursework is the rigor, and being able to do that with the support of the high school faculty, and making sure that students know that they can do what is being tasked of them, and that a high school faculty member can really help to make sure that they're breaking it down along with the college faculty into chunks so that students really can understand it and really do very well with it. We also want to make sure that we're staying connected. The everyday support that a high school has with parents, students, and their families, we want to make sure that those traditional elements and features are part of our program. So strong communication with our families and their children is very important. So how are these programs similar? Both located in the same building and on the Hudson Valley Community College campus. Again, I mentioned that no cost to families. There is a tuition that the districts would pay for students to participate in this program, similar to a Tech Valley High School or a CTE program, but the college credit portion is completely at no expense. The grant covers all of that for students and their families. All of our districts are eligible to attend, and I mentioned earlier that students from districts outside of our region are also eligible to attend. We have strong industry partners with the Artificial Intelligence Center of Excellence and the Tech Valley Center of Gravity. We all have been doing a lot of work with the college and making sure that we align our program to the degree pathways that the college has for the pathways that we identified. So for example, when we are identifying the coursework that students would need to take as part of our computer information systems pathway, we want to make sure that the high school coursework that they're doing, where it can be met in a dual way, that we are providing that opportunity. So there are some coursework that students could take that would meet both the high school graduation requirement and be earning college credit for it to meet the degree requirements. As I mentioned earlier, they're both focused on in-demand industries and jobs. Students enrolled in this program will begin dual enrollment coursework right away. Definitely by their 10th grade year, all students are earning college credit. If students decide that as part of the program that they want to continue on for their bachelor's degree or beyond, Hudson Valley Community College has articulation agreements with more than 50 colleges. We mentioned the workplace visits, internships, and mentorships. And then finally, the courses will be taught by college faculty and or high school teachers with adjunct status. So how are the programs different? We've gone over this a little bit, but it's helpful to see on one slide. P-TECH is a 6-year curriculum. Early college high school is a 4-year curriculum. P-TECH culminates in a degree with 60 plus college credits. The early college high school program includes a minimum of 24 credits, but they can earn more than that, provided that they are taking all the courses that are available to them. In P-TECH, there's a requirement for that industry mentorship. There isn't a requirement for the mentor in early college high school, but we do really want to make sure that those opportunities for that workplace exposure are there for students. One of the things with P-TECH, their priority was given to students who are coming from districts who have an average cohort graduation rate of 82% or lower. This is a state, this was for the award. So this was part of the RFP when we applied for it. And then again, we focused on the pathways of environmental science, engineering science, and computer science. And then in early college high school, the pathway is focused on health sciences. One of the things that is a unique feature of early college high school is that students would need to be, 51% of students who attend would need to be from a target district. And we have 8 target districts within our 3 counties. So we also don't see that as an issue as we're working to fill out the population of both programs.
So when you're thinking about, who else the student body will be and kind of who would make a successful student in this program, we're looking for students who are motivated and they want to explore exciting ways to learn. In the beginning, Mr. Tavey mentioned how we're looking to reimagine what high school could look like. And that's really the heart of these programs. We are trying to do something different than the standard method of giving instruction, very collaborative, very much project-based, very hands-on. So we're looking for students who are excited to learn those new ways and are willing to take a chance and kind of step out of their comfort zone and experience that. Obviously, students who are interested in taking college courses, because that's the huge draw here. By 9th grade, you're enrolled in at least one college course. And then every year it builds on and it builds on with that. And we have supports built in to help to make sure that you're successful there, but having that motivation to try what might be a more challenging course. Obviously, someone who's more interested in these career fields, because a lot of the college courses you take will align with that career field, and the mentor that you get and the industry experiences and the field work and a lot of the projects all connect to those job market careers that we mentioned before. In all of your courses, they're going to be taught in a way that you get more exposure to these topics and you get as much chance as possible to really explore them. So having that interest is key. Obviously, someone who can work well in a collaborative environment. With project-based learning, so much of what you're going to be taught is working with others and being part of a team and problem solving together. And then someone who really wants to just have a different high school experience, wants to try something new, to meet new people from districts from all over the area, and really just try that new way of learning. We have some frequently asked questions.
Sorry, Kim, you're muted.
Unmute. Okay, I think I'm good. Okay, so we have a couple frequently asked questions that have already come up as we've presented this and spoken to counselors and other people about this. So I'm just going to read these out to Mr. Tavey and we'll get some information out to you. First, how large is the cohort size?
Sure. Our early college high school program has a cohort size of 25 students. So each year, 25 students will be accepted into the early college high school. and that is from all of our component districts, as well as from districts outside of our region. For P-TECH, the cohort size is a little bit larger. 45 students is the cohort size for P-TECH. So again, that would be 45 students each year. And just a reminder, the P-TECH program is a 6-year program.
How are students selected?
So we talked a little bit about some of the differences between the two programs. As Mrs. Sparkman mentioned earlier, I think we really want to make sure that students have a passion for the career fields that we are offering as far as the pathways. So as we're looking at potential candidates for our programs, we're looking for students who are interested in a different type of high school, in a different environment, and who are motivated to work very hard and to to explore new pathways as far as their education is concerned. I think it's important to just also one of the features of this is the required interview. So we're working with the students as they're applying to talk them through and to talk about the programs to make sure that the program is a good fit for the applicants to the program. We want to make sure, just like our students want to make sure that it's a right fit for them and it's a right fit for the program.
How will transportation be handled?
So transportation will be handled as part of the program. We will be working with districts to make sure that we can arrange for transportation to the Hudson Valley Community College campus. I can share too a little bit, and Kim, you can expand upon this as well. Within our existing programs, our New Visions programs specifically have shuttles that run from the different regions of our component districts. So we have a shuttle that runs from Greene County up to the different programs that take place in the capital region. Same as with Columbia County and with Rensselaer County. So we're already familiar with how to make sure that we can get students to our programs. So we're going to be continually working with districts to make sure that we can combine where it makes sense to combine, so that we can get all the students to the Hudson Valley Community College campus. But one of the most important things is that it's not something that parents would be responsible for. It's a feature of our program. As students get on into their later years of the program, we would work to make sure that they have the opportunity to drive if they would like to.
What if my child is struggling with the academics?
Well, I'd like to emphasize this because I think it's important that there's a number of reasons why students may struggle academically. It could be that the environment that they're in is not well suited to their learning style. So I think it's something that we have to look at together. It also could be just an issue of the instructional approach. We've talked a lot about this being a very hands-on program, project-based environment. So it is going to be different than a traditional high school. So the reason I bring that up is it doesn't necessarily mean that a student who is struggling at the middle school level will struggle at the high school level in this program. We will work to support that student and make sure that they can be successful in our program. Really, what we're looking for is a capable, motivated student who wants to excel in a particular pathway. We want to make sure we structure the support for them within our program.
Do they have to select a pathway right in 9th grade?
Well, students are going to select a pathway right in 9th grade, and I say that with a little bit of hesitation, because I think it's also important that that students have the opportunity to change their mind, making a decision as to what they're gonna do for their next 6 years in 8th grade may not be the same decision that they make after 9th grade. So it's one of the things that we worked very hard with the college on to make sure that the coursework in the 9th and 10th grade years was aligned with each other, to permit that opportunity for students to switch between one P-TECH pathway or another, or to early college, high school, and the health sciences. So there is an opportunity for students to move from one pathway to another throughout their early years in the program. That being said, as students progress into their 10th grade year or beyond their 10th grade year, it will get a little bit more difficult for a student, if they do change their mind, to change pathways. But when you see the scope and sequence, you'll see that the coursework in the 9th and 10th grade year is largely exactly the same.
Do they take Regents exams?
Yes. So one of the goals of our program was to make sure that we were affording the same opportunities, and the Regents exams would be a requirement. But one of the things we also wanted to make sure is that students would have the opportunity as part of this program to pursue an advanced Regents diploma pathway as well. So yes, most certainly they are taking and meeting all the New York State graduation requirements with regard to Regents exams, but we also want to make sure that they have the opportunity to pursue that advanced Regents diploma pathway as well.
Can students with IEPs and 504 accommodations apply?
Absolutely. I think that we've seen that with great success within our Tech Valley High School program, and again, it really is. It's a different approach. It's a different program, and in a lot of ways, it is a great opportunity for a lot of students. We would definitely work with each student and their families to make sure that the IEPs, that we could meet all the requirements of the IEPs, but students with IEPs and 504s most certainly can attend and are encouraged to do so.
What if my child wants to continue on to get a bachelor's degree?
They certainly can do that. The pathways are identified for P-TECH for students to earn their associate's degree and be able to go right into employment, but also provide the flexibility, as I mentioned earlier, due to the articulation agreements that Hudson Valley has with more than 50 college institutions. Students would have the flexibility to continue on and earn their bachelor's degree if they chose to do so.
And our last one is, what do we do next if we're interested? And that takes me to our next slide. So if you'd like more information, we do have a website that's been launched that covers in much more detail the different pathways with an understanding of the courses that you'd be taking and a summary of what to expect for each one of those. So that's up on the slide now. And if we could have our wonderful Questar help desk put it in the chat, that would be wonderful. You can also email myself or Mr. Tavy. Our email addresses are listed there too. And ask anything, because this is a big decision and this is something that you want to get all the information for possibly before you apply. If you choose to apply, let your school counselor know that you're doing this so that they're prepared, because they do have to play a part in this. One of the big parts they play is they're going to serve as a recommendation for the student. When the student fills out the online application, there's a section for them to write a teacher with a teacher's email and a counselor with a counselor's email, and they will get an automatic form to fill out to recommend you as the student applying. So with all that identified, when you do go on to apply for this program, as soon as the application is live, we're going to post it on our website. We'll also be sharing it out through all of social media and all of the means necessary through all of our component districts. The counselors will all have the link for a live online application. And there is a written section, so the students will be responding to some questions about how this aligns to their career goals and why they're interested in this program. But then once they submit that, then you go into the lottery, which is our next section. So a little bit on our deadlines. The application should go live this week, after which it's due April 12th. Once the applications are closed, we're going to host a district-wide lottery on April 23rd. From there, the selected lottery people will be given an interview where we really work with each other to learn about the programs. You speak with us, ask us all the questions you might have one-on-one, and we also get to talk to you and learn a little bit more about your child or the prospective student, learn some more that we might not have known just from reading the application, so that we come away from this really understanding each other. And then from there, we notify schools and we notify families who will be welcome into our first year. That's our timeline. And I'm going to go into the chat and share out some questions that we might also have in there for you, Mr. Tavy.
So one question I saw in there, and I was actually in the process of typing a response, but I'll answer it. And I see it from a couple different people. Can students apply to the program outside of their 8th grade year? So if they wanted to apply after their 9th grade year, could they? One of the things I would say there is that we've worked to develop the programs so that they do start in 9th grade, and that so much of their entry into the program is to work to build that community that would exist as a high school program. That being said, we would work to accommodate students if they decide after their 9th grade year that attending at their traditional high school that they really want to move to P-TECH or early college high school, if space allowed. But I just want to caution that because it really is dependent upon that space being allowed. I mentioned our cohort sizes, and we really are limited to those cohort sizes. So there are no guarantees that there would be a spot for a student in 10th grade. I would encourage applicants to apply and attend starting in 9th grade. I also want to touch on something as I think it's probably a concern that may be on a lot of people's mind, and I want to address it right off the bat. 9th graders on a college campus is something that we thought very long and hard about as well, and we wanted to make sure that that there was the opportunity for there to be the isolation on that college campus when it was appropriate for the isolation to occur, which is in the early years. When students are not by themselves, we want to make sure that they are with their high school in a controlled environment, and that the building that Hudson Valley has identified for us really permits that. It's right next to the drop-off area. Students would get off their bus and come right into the building and into our classrooms. As students progress on and their maturity level increases, then there would be increased opportunities for students to integrate into the college environment and attend college classes. So I just know that that's somewhat of a concern as parents are sending their 9th graders off to school, that being on a college campus may be something that there is some worry about. And I want to make sure that everybody knows it's something that we've considered. And we are making sure that we take that into account with the way we've designed our program.
Another question here, does a student's performance or their grades in middle school, will that impact them being accepted into the programs?
So I think that I touched on it a little bit earlier, but I think it's important to really look at fit for a student. So what I would say there is that yes and no. I think that as we're looking at candidates for this program, a student who, for whatever reason, was not successful at the middle school level, it may be for a variety of factors. One of them could be just it wasn't the right fit for them. They're a very capable student, and they just didn't feel connected within their middle school environment, and it didn't excite them. That's what we'd be looking for as we're trying to identify fit for students. That student who is capable, who maybe just wasn't quite applying themselves the way they could in their current environment, but has the capability to do so in a high school program. When I was a high school principal, I always used to say you have a clean slate when you enter ninth grade, and you're going from this point forward. What you were as a middle schooler only matters if you let it matter. If you were not where you needed to be from a grade standpoint as a middle school student, use the clean slate that you have when you enter high school to make sure that your high school grades are where they should be, and all of those grades become part of your transcript. So I think, I don't know if I answered the question directly, Kim, but I would say that it's really about fit and really working with students and their families to make sure that this program is the right fit for them.
When would students return to school, and can they participate in after-school activities at their home school?
So it's going to depend upon the logistics of transportation. It is our intent and our hope that students will be able to participate in extracurricular activities and athletics at their home school. That being said, again, it's really going to be dictated by the schedules of transportation.
Okay. Also, we're joined by Cheryl Kennedy right now, who's from the Tech Valley Center of Gravity. So I just wanted to say hello to her and welcome her from joining us, because she's been a huge partner with us for this and will continue to be a huge partner with us. So thank you for joining us there.
Thank you.
What happens if students are not successful and end up leaving the program? How does it affect the rest of high school?
So the programs that we have, particularly in the early years, are very similar to the pathways in as far as the coursework is concerned, to the coursework that students would be taking at their home high school. I would say the worst case scenario would be that students are going to go back to their high school with a few more college credits than they would have had otherwise. But it is our hope that they wouldn't do that. Traditionally, college credits early on in a high school career are not common in a traditional high school. They're a feature within the 10th grade program, particularly at the P-TECH and early college high school.
And one student has asked, they're already in some accelerated classes in middle school. Does that have any impact on their experience with P-TECH or early college high school?
Yeah, we've accounted for that within our development of our scope and sequence. We realize that students are not all going to be coming into the program at the 9th grade level with exactly the same needs from a coursework standpoint. So we want to make sure that we can, provide a variety and opportunities for acceleration for students to continue that acceleration that they began in middle school.
I'd also add on to that, like we've said before, if you're entering into P-TECH, that 6-year list of years that you would take, that's the maximum. If you're already in accelerated classes and you can start taking more college classes at an earlier grade, then you could get done in 5 years with your associate's degree. So that's a perfect example of how that would work. I don't see any other new questions that have popped in.
Well, one thing I would say is if you have questions that you either think of after tonight or that you want to speak to one of us individually about, please make sure you reach out to us. We're happy to speak to you one-on-one and to really go over the particular programs as it works for your child. And you may have specific questions regarding your child entering these programs. We're happy to talk to you about that.
What if a child does not want to stay on for 6 years? Will they still have their high school degree in 4 years?
So yes, the students will be able to earn their high school diploma requirements within their 4 years. That being said, there's also, it's not a 6-year sentence. It's up to 6 years. Statewide, a lot of students earn their associate's degree somewhere within that 5th year. It could be towards the end of that 5th year. But one thing that I would just point out is that if they didn't stay on, they would lose the benefit of the no tuition college credits. So we would encourage all students to remain in the program to complete both their programs. They remain a participant of the program until they complete both of their requirements. So their degree requirements in the P-TECH program and their high school requirements.
Question here, what if a student decides to go to another college for their bachelor's degree?
That's definitely possible, and Hudson Valley would be able to, a student would be able to transfer from Hudson Valley to over 50 plus colleges because of the articulation agreements, and they can even go beyond that. It just would be an individual determination of that college that the student would be going to.
Okay, a person here said that the program is, I lost it, I'm sorry. Are students able to take classes over the summer or in the spring?
So the early college high school program has a summer component to it prior to the start of the, both programs will have a summer component prior to the start of the school year. As far as the classes after that, there wouldn't be a requirement of summer term classes connected to the degree pathway. Those would be all structured so that students could complete them over the course of a traditional high school year. But we'll add that to our frequently asked questions section to really talk about what the in-between years look like.
A person asked if it's a full-time or a partial program. So is it full day or half day?
So it is a full day program. Students would come for the beginning of their school day after they've taken the transportation to the Hudson Valley Community College campus, and they would remain on campus all day long until the end of the day, where they'd be transported back to their home district, hopefully in time for the extracurricular or athletic activities.
What degrees do they end, or what degree do they end up graduating with after the 2 years after high school?
So it's an AAS degree in each of the P-TECH pathways. With the early college high school program, it would be a number of credits, at minimum 24. They wouldn't graduate with the degree unless they completed the full degree requirements of that health sciences pathway. Sorry, associates in science. I should have said that instead of.
That's okay. I'll type in the 4 different pathways just so we remember them too.
So there was a question I just saw pop up, where they follow the college schedule for breaks.
Oh.
The school year for our P-TECH and early college high school students follows more of a traditional New York State Education Department year. So we need to have a minimum number of school days. So it is likely that it would not directly follow the college's breaks. There might be some overlap, but it's not going to be, the breaks wouldn't be the same as the colleges.
Which is very similar to how we've always run the New Visions programs that we run out of Questar. Well, they follow our high school calendar, even though they're all in college courses. So when they're not taking those college courses, they're with their high school teachers still learning. And just to clarify, yes, all 9th graders, it's on a Hudson Valley campus. We have our own building right there.
So,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say there's a question about more information about each program. Our website, I think Brian Forres is on here, who's worked very hard to develop our website. Has a lot of resources, and Kim just put it in the chat. that does give you specific information about each program pathway and links to the college's program pathways for that particular program.
A question asking if they can attend the Hudson Valley classes at the high school. I'm assuming that means their own home district high school.
The classes that they would be attending at Hudson Valley Community College would be connected to P-TECH and Early College High School. So they'd either be attending them with an adjunct faculty within the Lang building at the Hudson Valley Community College, or as students go on throughout their academic careers, there may be an opportunity for those students to actually sit in a college class on the college campus.
Oh,
There's
do
a
we have a
question about
list?
the 50 plus colleges. Deb, that would be a question for you. Do you have that listed on your website somewhere?
Do we have to unmute her?
We might.
I just asked her to unmute.
Hi, yes, thank you. If we don't have it on there, I can share it with you guys to post as part of the frequently asked questions.
Okay.
Let me look at that right now.
Dan Sherman just posted something. It is
Oh,
it.
great.
Dan
Dan
Sherman.
is right on top of it.
So are there other questions that any of our prospective students are? If you're a prospective student and you're on the screen, turn your video on so we can see you.
Oh, fun.
I see, let's see, I see Gabriel Dugan. I see you.
Student.
Carolyn.
Carolyn. Hey, Sharon.
Carolyn or Tim? Oh,
I don't think they can talk. We've muted them all. Hi,
we
Jill.
muted them all.
Hi, Cassie.
I
There's
think I can.
Christopher. Hi. Sal. Hello. Welcome.
Well, it is so nice to see all of your smiling faces out there. We're very excited about this opportunity, and students who would be attending this program, particularly as year one students, you're going to be part of something very special, being the first cohort of P-TECH and Early College High School on Hudson Valley Community College's campus, which is an amazing opportunity that we're really excited about. And we look forward to you applying, and we look forward to you hopefully participating. Any other questions? So it's Ivy.
Ivy.
Carolyn and Tim are mom and dad. All right. So Ivy, hi Ivy.
Got it.
You're muted, but I can still see you're smiling and you're nodding. So. All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you everybody for their participation tonight. I'm really happy with the number of people that we had join tonight, and we will be doing more of these as we are getting closer and closer to the end of the application period. So if you feel like you have additional questions and you'd like to join another parent-student information session, just check out the Early College High School and P-TECH website, and the links for additional information nights will be there. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for their participation, the excellent questions. I think I mentioned it, but we're going to be using these questions to help build our frequently asked questions page on our website. So I think the questions that everyone asked were great questions, and they're questions that many people have. So we want to make sure that we're using that and answering some questions for people even before they have to ask them. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Good night, everyone.